That's it.
Welcome back to another off-centered episode. Week out from the National Sports Card Collectors Convention. We will all be there. We've got guests on tonight, one of them being not very controversial and one being a little bit controversial, Geoff Wilson. So we will see how that goes. I'm sure the chat will be a little fiery. And we will let Geoff talk, and we'll ask him some tough questions while we're at it, especially Neo. Neo had like a very long list of difficult questions for him to answer. And I was like, are you sure? And he's like, okay, whatever. So we're just going to roll with it. Guys, how we doing?
I did.
Good.
Good.
Neo looking at the second screen. Neo's still watching regular season Cavs highlights from last season.
I'm breaking down last season.
He's watching tape. Always studying, that guy. Always studying.
Right.
All right. We have a guest that's going to come on soon. Oh, speak of the devil.
I was going to say he should be back there.
And he appears. Matt from Ludex. What's going on, man?
What's going on, gentlemen? How are we?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good.
Where are you? Are you in a log cabin somewhere?
I'm relegated to the basement. The rest of my family's taking over everything else. So
looks like Friday the 13th down there.
That's Paul's basement.
How are we doing, man? Talk to us. Neo had mentioned, I know that you were going to come on and talk national stuff. I'm fired up to see you.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I was actually at the venue today. Our guys at the venue, like, we reached out to them last week. I'm like, hey, what's a good day to get to our stuff? Because, we had the VIP lounge upstairs. So he's like, oh yeah, come Wednesday and drop your stuff off. I'm like, Wednesday the week before? Like, oh yeah. I'm like, okay, so yeah, I was there. There's our booth is already 90% built out. The floor is just starting to take shape. It's go time.
Awesome.
Is it usually done early before the event?
Like at 23 National, I would say we were this finished like Tuesday night, the night before. Like they're like a full week ahead of schedule. And I will tell you that those new air conditioning units that we talked about, they're kicking in. The guys from Aramark, the catering place, like the facility, food and beverage, were wearing pullovers. They needed a light sweater. So
there's about to be 200,000 sweaty Neos there in a week, and it's going to put all the pressure on those things, man. They're going to be running hard.
Good news is it was 98 and humid today, but it looks like the extended forecast is like low 80s, like perfect weather. So should be good.
I looked yesterday.
Roll-up doors up or down?
What's up, Mike?
Were the roll-up doors open?
The roll-up doors were all open today because they were moving a lot of freight in. But like that was the thing. Like the 23 National, the roll-up doors were open until like 2 p.m. the day of the show. Like it was 98 and humid out. Like there was nothing you could do to cool it off.
Yeah,
you could have tripled the air conditioning units and it wouldn't have caught up that day. But that was circumstance. Now, like there was no show on the main floor most of this week, so they've been like all the tables are in place. Like the floor is taped. It's ready. It's exciting.
Very cool. How does it compare to last year Cleveland, but going back a couple of years, I guess, to the last Chicago show? Do you get the feeling like it's bigger and badder, or is it kind of like the same deal? Like what we
in 23, it took up the whole bottom floor completely. And this year it's doing that plus the 75 tables upstairs, plus like the area where the VIP lounge / trade nights are, that was all like back corporate offices and stuff, like, their back rooms in 23. This year, that's the 3 official trade nights, the VIP lounge experience during the day. Like it's a complete entertainment zone now compared to, 23. So like it's still got room to grow with that facility a little bit too. Like that hall upstairs is not fully utilized yet. So like it's They didn't want to like bite off too much this year and just kind of build it steadily, and it looks like that's working.
Very cool. Neo, I know you've got 7 questions that you're ready to go with. Hit us with it. Hit us with it.
If you want to pull up I did a screen share.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I put it in the private chat. You just didn't see it.
Oh,
I was going to show off his fancy map.
Private chat. Where is it though? How come I can't see this? Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. We got it. We got it. Don't panic, everybody. We got it.
There we go.
Right.
If not, we were going through my phone.
So
it's actually it's actually different on the map versus the desktop as well. There's enhanced features on through the Ludex app, which we host the app on.
So what do you get on the app versus the desktop?
The app, so on the desktop there, you see the little stars next to the dealers. On the desktop, it really doesn't do anything. On the app, because you're not logged into anything on that, so we can't save it to your profile. But that allows you to star dealers and star corporates or whatever it is that you want to hit. And then once you star them as a favorite, it'll open up. You'll have a little notes section. You can write notes, whatever it is, and have that saved to your. It'll star on that map, like the dealer, whatever dealer you want. Boom! It'll highlight them.
Now, let me just
it there. I can't really see that.
Let me quickly point out on the map. You see the giant PSA stand. That is the Geoff Wilson repack part of the PSA stand. So there will be
the much bigger part, of course. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's
great. That's a grading one.
The large one is the Geoff Wilson repack one. He'll be on to talk about that. The smaller one, of course, will be the grading station.
Poking the bear.
If you favorite something, does it highlight the table on the map by chance? Do you know?
It will highlight the table on the map, and then it will put it first in your list of on that instead of alphabetical order. It'll bang it out like your favorites go first, and then alphabetical order.
So I already starred the Poke Bowl because I wanted to make sure I knew where to get my food every day.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Yeah, so it's like we got the food and bev layout this week, and instead of being able to put icons for everything, we just changed the title to what the food is. So
yeah, that's awesome because it lets me know exactly where to go for what I'm looking for versus you have to walk around and just figure it out in the past. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And a big change this year, and it's something that I myself pushed for when I found out it existed. And they originally did it for vendors at this venue, is Aramark, the food and bev company that runs that facility, allows dealers to order food to their booths, right? So they'll deliver it right to, this is a booth 627 if you're a dealer.
Nice.
We got them to co-opt that a little bit and have a pickup table in the VIP area. So anybody with VIP access to the VIP area can order their lunch via QR code to Aramark and get a text message when it's ready and pick it up and eat it up there. So Neo, if you want to scroll over to the right there, to where the upstairs is.
Oops. It's weird because I'm doing it on 2 different screens.
And then zoom in to the left of there where it says VIP check-in. Next to that is VIP mobile order pickup. That's a new feature this year. That's the Aramark's never done it to the public before. So we're like, okay, they were a little nervous about opening up to everybody. So we're like, okay, we'll know the number of VIP tickets. How about you open it up to them? They were willing to give it a shot. So I think that just makes your show more efficient, right? Instead of waiting in line 45 minutes for your tacos, put in the order, go shopping, you get a buzz when it's ready, go pick up them, eat them. Like, it's awesome. It's a good new feature this year.
Matt, are they changing? So say what you will about Cleveland, but I really like that there was a lot of seating in Cleveland. And I know Chicago, when I think about Rosemont, I always think about just like sitting on the ground, with a drink or a hot dog or something, like, have they opened that up at all to where and look, I know there's going to be a zillion people there, so it's not like there's going to be a bunch of open seating, but is there anything added this year that you know of?
Not a ton that I've seen yet. Obviously this year, if you have VIP access, there'll be plenty of seats because that's the lounge, that's the multi-purpose room for both trade nights, everything else. They'll have plenty of room there. So if you're able to get up there, take advantage of it. It's not. I don't think it's a game time decision of whether it's going to be open to 5-day pass holders this year. They're trying to stagger that, and if there's room eventually, they'll check it out the first couple of days. They could have access to that, but that's where most of the seating is. You can see there at the bottom of the screen, there's the 75 new dealers that are upstairs. They're kind of junior tables. They're a little bit smaller. They're not a full booth that everybody gets, but this is burning through the wait list and getting new dealers in, which was a big complaint the last couple of years, especially Cleveland, where the floor space went down 30% year over year. They had to cut dealers, let alone go through new dealers. This year, it's kind of went back to where it was in 23 and expanded. So,
do we know how many dealer tables it is now?
In total, not I could figure it out by looking at my spreadsheet, but I don't have that in front of me.
That's fine.
Yeah, later in the stream, I might chat it to you via Discord and give you that number.
The trade night area. So, is this on par with how big downstairs in Cleveland was last year? Is it bigger, about the same size, smaller?
So the production is going to be both inside the ballrooms and in that foyer area, the whole thing.
Okay, so that's not here.
Damn.
So and anything above that walkway. So that's the walkway that you get to the hotel garage and stuff like that, and the other way to the Hyatt. Everything to the north of that is the trade night area. So there's going to be, I was just up there today, and I want to say there were 10 or 15 brands represented up there. There's going to be a lot of activations and other stuff that's going to be announced. Additional perks for VIPs. That's not we had to wait to see if the brands were able to deliver on those perks, that kind of stuff. And if they are, then it's going to be the VIP ticket is going to be a massive value this year. If these things that I'm hearing come to fruition.
Are you able to share kind of some example companies that are is Fanatics throwing on something, or is there, specific companies you can name, or you can't really talk about it yet?
There's a couple graders up there, that kind of thing, that they might be able to offer enhanced services. So that's fingers crossed on those. That shall remain nameless, of course. eBay's going to have a big presence up there during trade nights. They're going to have, basically a booth in the middle of that room. There's going to be a stage going all day long during VIP hours, with random breaks and giveaways and all kinds of fun stuff. And then there's a lot of fun stuff planned for trade nights on that stage. And so Barstool Chicago has a group of guys that are confirmed for Thursday night to kind of it's a big swath of guys, and there's quite a few of them that are into cards. Some are more into mem, some are each one has their own little collecting story, but they're going to be participating in a big way.
Paul in our group sent me a message saying that they hired Bobby Hebert's son, who's really popular in New Orleans. And I guess they at Barstool Chicago hired him recently or something. So I think he's going to be there.
Yeah, he's one of the guys that I got. They weren't on the original confirmation list I saw, but afterwards I was like, oh yeah, T-Bob Hebert is going to be here. Of course, his name is T-Bob, being from Louisiana, right? Yeah. He was a college ball player himself, I think. He's a pretty good lineman. But that's going on. Another thing with the map, if you want to zoom in, and this is a feature that we kind of ran in Cleveland, but not a whole lot of people knew about it. Scroll. Do me a favor, in that little search bar, search postnet. Click on that, and it'll show where it's at. It's over by the TriStar area, right?
Oh, I remember these
that
guys
is. Yeah, those guys, it was like a surprise hit of a table. We worked it out, and that venue used to have a FedEx office on the facility, and then it didn't, right? So when they booked it, it had a FedEx shipping center, and then it didn't. We're like, you know what? We're dealing with guys who are trying to buy framed jerseys and all kinds of stuff. that I'll have to get in an Uber and take it to the UPS store. Like, let's let people pack stuff, ship stuff right from the show floor. You know, and they didn't do any marketing at all. They just trickled it out there. They go a last minute edition, and by Sunday they had 30 deep in their line the whole time. Like, they couldn't even. They were bringing in like seasonal hires for the weekend, right? That worked there 3 years ago and paying them double to show up. So that's a huge feature for a show that I think the National's the only one to really do that, where there's literally a vendor booth where it's insured shipping right from the floor. I don't have to bring a box. They have all the boxes, all the SKUs ready to pack stuff up and protect it and ship it from the floor. You know, they're great people, awesome to work with. On the map, if you want to click on the event schedule above the thing there.
Oh, on the left, Neo.
On the left, yeah, right next to the home screen there.
Yeah.
That's new this year, integrated. First event, it's not really an event. It's ongoing all the way through. I don't know if you guys have looked into it. They have an awesome charity raffle this year.
Yeah.
$25 a ticket. And first prize is an SGC5 Mickey Mantle, 51 Bowman Mantle, like a $30,000 card. Second place is a PSA 9 Jordan, 86 MJ. Then a great piece of original artwork from Murray Henderson, like another $10,000-$12,000 piece. You know, $25 a ticket. It's going to be all the way through the National. I think they pick it August 5th, I believe, but the ticket sales go through then. It's awesome. I wanted to hit on that. Postnet, the VIP pass, holders ordering food.
As other events maybe pop up, or maybe brands are doing specific things, would any of that be added to this?
A ton of stuff's going to be added on the fly. Like,
Okay.
I think, unfortunately, I'm the point man for all that. So all the brands that will be reaching out, like, hey, we're going to have so-and-so at our booth at this time. Like, cool, I'll get it in there. Hey, we're going to, like, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a great spot to see everything. All that will be integrated. Like, if you have, like, not everybody's going to be walking around with a PC at their phone, download the Ludex app. The National Hub is right above the fold on the main homepage. All this stuff will all be in there, plus additional features. It's a great way to experience the show in a very collector-focused way.
With this app, and I mean, I'm gonna pretty much use it the whole time. Actually, may also print out this on paper, just because sometimes paper is just easier to look at. But the app itself, going in and being able to star things, because I've already starred probably about 15 different things on my app. Events is going to be huge for me because I like events. I like different, giveaways and prize drawings or whatever it may be that something's doing. I have a tendency to get there and then realize something's happening on day 2 when it would have been more beneficial for me to know about on day 1. And I think it's also bad marketing by some of these other companies. But yeah, because right now I can't find much of anything going on. What companies are doing? Are they giving something away on a day? I have no idea what they're doing.
Most of them are pretty cryptic right until the week of.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want to scroll down there in the lower section and click on the Ludex booth, is that turquoise one there?
Right in the middle.
Okay, that one we're going to be giving away like $15,000 worth of hobby boxes throughout the week.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Multiple raffles a day, that kind of stuff. Like, that's going to be like, that kind of stuff is like, it's iffy whether I put that in the event schedule. That'll be in the marketing. It'll be in all our socials, that kind of stuff. But those are kind of things like, if it's significant enough with an athlete appearance, if there's a specific time for something, there's going to be a bunch of that kind of stuff in that event schedule. That's going to be changing constantly. It's going to be changing all week. I mean,
it's kind of an underrated part of the National is for $25-$30 a regular ticket or whatever, even if you're buying VIP. I mean, the amount of swag and giveaways and all the things the companies are doing, you can pretty easily, I think, Ham, you probably make all your money back in the first day with all the different things that you pick up.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing was always, only take 1 or 2 shirts to the National. And when you get there, go hit the people that are giving away shirts. And you just basically wear cool
Ham
cool
doesn't even
sports
pack
bag.
clothes.
Correct. I mean, somebody's not giving away shorts and shoes yet, but I can get shirts.
Yet.
Yeah, I said yet.
Ooh, yeah, 3D printed made to order shoes. That's the next booth of the
I mean,
national.
somebody's trying to promote a product. Why not? I like to put that stuff out there. It's fun. It gives somebody something else to go and chase and do at the show. I mean, there's a billion cards to look at, but you can only hit one table at a time. But if I know that, for instance, Zion has usually given away the mags. In the past, they've given away one mag to a person every day, and they'll do 100 mags for the first 100 people. And they usually give outside of that even more. So that's something interesting. Somebody gets to get introduced to a product, maybe go grab a product that they usually like. They're already in the national. It's kind of part of being at that event. It makes you feel like you're getting something extra during the event. And it also makes people sometimes wish that they would have went because they didn't know about something. Even as little as that, it sounds weird, but like what you said, y'all are giving away hobby boxes. You said you're doing it in a raffle style. So how many people are going to want to go there and do that? I don't know if it'll be limited to X amount of people, but that's a huge promotion.
Yeah, thank you. And another thing too is friend and Ludex investor Brian Urlacher is going to be at our booth on Thursday, giving away a little bit amount of autograph cards, awesome. photo ops as time permits. We'll nail down the time. Once again, that'll be in the event schedule. As soon as we hammer down the exact time, that kind of stuff, all that'll be in there. So it's going to be a great hub to kind of keep an idea, keep a pulse on what's going on, and different, like, there might be stuff that they don't know yet. Like, I know for instance, there's a brand that just got added to, the corporate section, literally yesterday, and they might have a big superstar come through. Like, I don't know that, but keep an eye on that event schedule. You'll know.
It seems like just glancing at it, this part of the show floor seems pretty similar to 2023. Is that the vibe that you've gotten walking it so far?
In general, yeah. Like, there's, like, in the middle hall is a little taller. They might rearrange some stuff next year potentially. It depends on corporate demand, that kind of stuff. But the thing is, walking the floor just even before anything's set up and it's just laid out and ready to get built. There's probably double the amount of food vendors there from Aramark. They're really throwing a lot of free socks. They're really throwing a lot of resources at that. They're going to be ready for bear. The question earlier about zones and stuff for trade nights.
Yeah. And in general, I guess, are you seeing, trade night? Yes. But also just, have you seen that they're organizing, sections? This is vintage. This is more modern, or I know a lot of dealers have a mix of this stuff, but have you seen anything like that?
Last year they did a couple of groups that had like niches to kind of get a section of trade night. I believe it's going to continue this year. As I hear what groups are going where, that's something that will go in the event schedule. There was a wrestling group that was awesome. They had some unbelievable wrestling cards last year in Cleveland. And they reached out ahead of time and had a few reserved tables where their guys got there right away, set up, had all their awesome stuff out there, and people were like, that's the thing. It's not just like, you have to be in that group to get in that section. They just got a reserved section for a very unique niche in the hobby to be able to show it off. And it was very, very popular. So I believe that's continuing, but everything will be in the event schedule. As I hear a date, time, and a place, it's going in there.
Yeah, this map is clutch.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody.
Are there any improvements to the map that you're already looking for in future events? Sorry.
Different events other than the national?
Yeah, or the national itself. When I get there, I'll give you a couple things that I would potentially like to see if it's possible, which would be cool to do, but it'd take a little bit more work.
Yeah, for sure. We're always looking to evolve it. it made a big leap year over year. There was one last year, but the internet didn't exactly cooperate in most zones in Cleveland. I was on the Wi-Fi today there. Now, granted, it was just me and a bunch of tradesmen, but it wasn't so. It was really, really good.
I mean, if they can improve the AC and the Wi-Fi there, that'll drastically improve this event at this location.
I mean, that was the two complaints everybody had after 23 were those two things. And if you looked at if you followed Neo's channel in the last couple of weeks, that's two big improvements they threw at it, which, I mean, that's pretty clutch.
Well, hopefully they have those AC guys on hand just in case the new equipment goes down.
They do have big shows there that other than the National, believe it or not. And, especially if it's not 100 and muggy out, it'll be a meat locker in there.
I work in facilities and maintenance, and I know how stuff can just sometimes happen.
Awesome. Yeah. If you guys have any other questions, whatever it is, let me know. But I know everybody's waiting to see that handsome gentleman that's coming down after me.
Go ahead, yeah.
I was just going to say, if you want to just let people know the best ways to find like what app stores you're on and stuff like that, so people can go track it down.
Absolutely. We're on the Play Store and the App Store. Just search Ludex, Ludex. Download it. We got that little X symbol at the end. And it's a free app to download. There's a free version that lets you scan cards. We're an identification, pricing, collection management app. We connect to eBay to help you sell your cards. It's like a seamless integration. You can sell cards in 20 seconds once you have them in the platform, which takes a couple of seconds. So, and we have that big national hub, and all this stuff is in there plus more.
Steve, what were you going to say?
Oh, there is a good question by, looks like Dini's cards and comics, something like that. But I wanted to ask about the trade night entrance. Is the space going to be big enough to hold, or do you think it'll get to the point to where you have to wait to get in when people leave? Because I know in the past, the size or the amount of people wanting to get into the trade nights has often been cut off at a certain amount. And I didn't know if there was an early entry or anything like that.
There's not an early entry. I believe the VIP room itself does get cleared. The fire marshal makes you clear it out and start with a fresh count. So, if you're a VIP, you can't like do a cheat code and just just hang out in the lounge. Oops, look, it's trade night now. Right. That kind of thing. Now, the good news is here versus Cleveland, right? Here, it's the ballroom and the whole surrounding thing is all set up with rounds and everything else. So there will be tables inside and out. So it's a bigger area with more people. And then the escalator down right there goes to that whole area where, I don't know if you guys ever waited in a VIP line before, but there's like fountains and stuff like that. Like the building can stage way, way, way more people at any given time. So I would say about double Cleveland. Where everybody in Cleveland, if you weren't in, you were waiting outside with that venue. So it wasn't ideal, but there was no other way to do it. So will it hit capacity? I believe so. What is that capacity? I don't think that's been determined yet, but it's going to be a big number.
Cool. Okay.
I mean, the good thing is people there are people that kind of chill and go eat dinner and come back because it starts. It starts at 6 p.m. The show ends at 6 p.m. It's a quick turn time. Will there be people waiting at 4:30 out there? Yes, of course there will be. To sprint to get a good table, but it's going to be a great event. There's going to be a ton more brand activations and giveaways up there.
Yeah, if they're going to be doing giveaways and stuff up there, people will get in line.
Yes, sir. Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing. It's more giveaways, more interactions, more entertainment for sure. Also, potentially celebrities kind of hanging out in and around the space as well.
Yeah, that's what I was asking, Matt. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I was just going to ask, is there going to be some sort of limitation on how much space someone can take up? Because I know in past nationals and past trade nights, someone will come in and take up an entire table with their entire inventory, and then there's nowhere else for anyone. Like, you could have a seat, but there's no table space because one person tends to take up 3-4 spots with their inventory. I'm not sure if that's something that you can police or if something that's a rule. For me in the past, and I'm not trying to sound like a crab or anything, it's just made for, that's one of the things that's made for a miserable trade night experience for me, just because space is always limited, seats are always limited, and then you see where one person is sometimes taking up the space that of 8 people.
I'm in your camp quite a bit on that one. I don't know if we'll have the security like presence to police down to that level just yet. I think, there might be some signage or some verbiage or whatever it is, and like I know the key, in my eyes, it's people pay for one ticket. You didn't pay for a table.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, even if it's a VIP ticket, even if it's a trade night, you have one seat there. You don't get 40 square feet of frontage there. That's a pet peeve of mine as well. I don't know if it'll be able to police it at that scale. I'll talk to the security guys this week, and if I get an update, I will definitely let you guys know.
All right, buddy. Well, Matt, thanks for coming on. I'm excited. I know we're all excited to see you here I can't believe it's a week away, but yeah, we're going to be there before you know it. We do have our next guest on. He is semi-controversial in our hobby. Some people would say he's a little controversial. So Matt, we'll go ahead and see you next week, buddy. Thank you for coming.
Tell Geoff I said hi.
Absolutely. Everybody download the Ludex app immediately.
Yeah. It's
all right.
Very helpful.
All right. See you, buddy. All right. Oh, did I press the wrong button? I sure did. Welcome to the Octagon. Geoff Wilson. What's going on?
Geoff out.
Hey guys, what's going on? Anything happening today? Anything going on in the hobby today?
Well, actually, I have a question right out of the gate. I want to go to your social media post. I wish I was in the meeting because I feel like Teapot pressured you into this. The hobby changes forever, July 23rd. So, of course, attention-grabbing headline on IG. I want to know, were you guys in a room and you were like, let's go hard on these announcements? Or was Teapot like, hey, we're not going hard enough. We need more.
It was actually me. I'll take full credit or blame, which most of the chat will blame for that. I feel this is a really big deal, and I think there's a lot of people who obviously have very strong opinions, a lot of negative opinions towards repacks in general. I completely get it. I don't really share those opinions because, in my opinion, I don't see why it's any different to open up a box of Topps Chrome on release day today versus opening up a repack product. I think it's a similar type of philosophy. You're opening something up, you're going to get something inside, but you don't have any idea what it is. But the big difference between, up until now has been that we tend to trust the manufacturers more. Topps has attempted to take steps to get audits, and they've gotten KPMG involved in all of these things. Yet the repackers haven't done any of that. They've taken no steps, or at least a lot of them haven't really taken any steps to necessarily make their products trustworthy. And so, in my opinion, that is a big missing element. And I know a lot of people don't like repacks, and that's fine. But it is a $1 billion business. Billion with a B, $1 billion business, and it needed to be cleaned up. And I feel like this is a step forward. I feel like it's a really big deal.
All right, Neo, I feel like you were about to say something. Go ahead, fire it off. Tell Geoff what you were going to say about him before we came on the show. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, what you just said, $1 billion industry. And I saw you post that on Twitter and some people were giving you hell about it. And I know, like, you could look at some of those NFT reports for just Courtyard and assuming that they're remotely accurate, it shows that they're doing 50 million by themselves, and they're not like that big of a repacker in the grand scheme of things. I know that they market a ton, but I think Arena Clubs probably has more sales than them, let alone what the physical breakers are doing.
I heard at one point that Backyard. Well, I mean, I don't know any intricacies of Backyard Breaks business, but I'll tell you a couple of things that I've heard. One is that I don't know if they're still doing this rate, but they were at one point doing over $100 million a year in revenue from breaks. And the second thing that I've heard is now over half of their revenue comes from their own repack products. So if those numbers are accurate, and again, I have not verified them with anyone at Backyard Breaks, but that means that Backyard themselves is doing over 50 million a year in repacks. You've got a lot of other breakers, which are doing 10 million, 20 million plus, a year in repacks. You've got the digital repacks, as you said. We've got documentation on the digital repacks, as you said, that is a $500 million plus, thing. It's huge money. And I think that a lot of people in the comments and a lot of people on social today, they don't participate in it. And that's fine. They don't like it, and that's fine. But they don't necessarily realize or appreciate how big of a business it actually is. Hit Parade is massive. Dave & Adam's Hit Parade, they're putting out products all the time. That's a massive part of Dave & Adam's business. Massive. There are a lot of big repackers out there. It is a big business. And it may not be affecting some of the people today who felt like this wasn't a big deal, but it's affecting a lot of people in the hobby. And a lot of times it's the newer people who are getting into the hobby for the very first time, who don't know anything. They're buying these repacks and they're buying them on streams. And a lot of them are getting screwed over. A lot of them are.
Do you feel like the industry at large is becoming too reliant on the repack ecosystem? It just feels like a lot of companies, not necessarily what you're doing, but just in general, like PSA has thrown, besides this, just with like offers and the liquidity stuff that they've added, like they're gearing a lot of their back end businesses towards repacks. Like they have this now. A lot of the breakers are building their businesses around repacks. A lot of companies like Courtyard and Arena Club are building their businesses 1000% around repacks. Do you feel like it's like we've tipped the scale on this to a degree? Like, do you worry that the hobby itself or the sports card ecosystem is just over reliant on this at this point?
Yes, I think that's a fair concern. I think it's, yes, I think it's, people are ripping these maybe sometimes too much. I think there's that tendency to it. I think that the reason why it has probably happened is because the price of products from the manufacturers have gone up a lot, and people feel like, they're not getting maybe as good of a deal when they're buying a hobby box from one of the manufacturers as they were 5 years ago. And so people are turning to alternative methods, to open up product. And I think that's part of the reason why repacks have become so popular.
Can we back up a little bit, Geoff, where I know you made your announcement, but can you map out quickly kind of how is this going to work with you guys? How is it working with PSA? It's PSA certified. What does that mean exactly? Just for people that might not have caught, IG today or whatever, or our videos. How is it going to work?
Yeah, and I'm reading the comments as we go here, which is kind of fun. By the way, I agree, Steve, in the comments, buy singles. Yes, buy singles. Like I don't
Splenda.
I don't think that repack spending should be the like primary form of people spending on the hobby. I don't think that's smart. I say it all the time on my shows, like open up boxes for entertainment purposes. But if you're thinking about investing or building a portfolio or building even a really good collection, go buy singles. It's a better way to go in terms of doing those things. That is true. But it doesn't change the fact that a lot of people love to rip and they like to open up this stuff. Dustin, to answer your question, how it works is Cards HQ is acquiring all of the cards. So PSA is not acquiring the cards. Cards HQ is acquiring the cards. We're acquiring some of the cards through PSA's channels. PSA's got their offers program. PSA's got their eBay store. We're buying some of the cards there. And then we're also buying some of the cards at card shows. And then we're shipping all of the cards to PSA's vault. Obviously, the cards that are already in PSA's ecosystem are just automatically going into the vault. And the cards that we're acquiring, we're shipping to PSA's vault. And then they're all in PSA's vault. And then once we get all the cards that we want for a particular repack series in the vault, we then give PSA the checklist. We say, hey, here's the 432 cards, because that's how big our 4 initial series are. Here's the 432 cards that should go into baseball series 1. And PSA then pulls those 432 cards out of our vault, and then they begin their process of putting them in the packaging. They have all of our packaging. We've shipped all of our packaging to them. So then they put them in all the packaging. They shrink wrap them. They apply a PSA sticker on them, and then they randomize them for the cases. So they shuffle them or whatever, put them in the boxes, put them in the cases, seal the cases, put all the cases on a big pallet, and ship the pallet our way. So they then arrive at Cards HQ. They're all sitting here now in the back of our shop. And when they arrive here, we get a big pallet of cases. We don't have any idea what card is in what box. We don't know what box is in what case. All we know is that they just shipped us 432 boxes, and that's our complete checklist. And so our entire staff is completely blind on what is where. And so that way, when we put them in our showcases in our store, or when we go on our breaks and we start opening these, we can honestly say, we don't know what's where. Everybody has a fair chance. The Grail card could be the very first box opened. It could be the very last box opened. We have no idea. We cannot play any games with this, because we are completely neutral on this. And that's what we're trying to solve for people. Like, just make it a fair product for collectors. If collectors are going to buy repacks anyway, which they are, how do we make it fair for them? And that's what we attempted to do here with PSA.
Is the checklist going to be posted online, or is there going to be a place where you can go and see what's happening and what was certified, and, kind of like a registry, I guess, of some kind?
It's live right now. It's on our website. So if you go to gradedgrailsrepack.com, you can, in the top menu bar, we have 4 debut series, 2 baseball, 1 football, 1 basketball. You can go to any of the pages for those series in the top menu bar. It shows you every single one of the 432 cards in the checklist. It gives you the odds of hitting any card in the checklist. It's all right there.
What's the and I'm sure that this will be fluid, but because comps change so quickly on some of this stuff, like what's your expected turnaround time from, okay, we have a chunk of inventory, we're sending it in off to the vault for PSA to do its thing, versus when you get that physical inventory back to actually sell it?
Yeah, so obviously we're trying to minimize that time. When we have set a floor price of approximately 45% of the product cost, right? And which we think is pretty fair. We wanted to set it, like, we were trying to set it at 50%. To be honest, it's if you build a repack product with a 50% floor, then obviously you have to kind of pull the top end cards down to make the whole thing make sense. We're not making a huge profit margin on this. We're making a 15% profit margin. That's our profit margin on this, first debut series of repacks. I don't think that's unreasonable. That's less of a good profit margin than what we get when we sell Topps products or, other products, right? So it's a 15% profit margin. The floor is 45%. Some of the grails go up to 600% plus. And we try to, but that's the prices as of the time we acquire the card. So, I mean, Rob, to your point, like when we acquire them to when they get into the boxes, that time does matter because cards can go up and down in value. And I saw today on Twitter that there were some people that were taking the time, and God bless them, they were taking the time to go through all 432 cards in our checklist and comp every single one of them out so they could identify the cards that were not worth 45%. And they found a couple. They were like, this one is worth less than 45%. And I'm like, you know what? Hey, you're probably right. It was worth 45% when we bought it 2 months ago. Now it's worth less than 45%. But, but hopefully some have gone in the other direction too, right? So we obviously the quicker we can buy the cards to get them in the boxes, to get them out, the better, because it cuts down on all of that. I think for future series of repacks, it's going to be about 45 days. I think that's probably what's realistic. Because it's going to take us a few weeks to acquire all the cards. We get them to PSA. PSA's turnaround time from when we give them the instructions to pack the repacks to when they actually have them all packed and shipping to us is 10 business days. So basically we need to allow 2 weeks for PSA. So if we can acquire all of the cards in let's say a 3-week window for a new repack series, and then PSA, it takes them 2 weeks to pack it, and then they ship it to us. And so that's kind of about a month and a half of time. This first series, it took a little longer than that because it was obviously our first time doing it.
I have a question. If is the long-term plan, it sounds to me, I mean, if that's right, 15% is not a huge margin. Frankly, when I think of repacks, I know there's a lot of folks that are taking a lot more liberties than 15%. Are you looking to really kind of scale that to kind of undercut, if you will, kind of have offer what feels like a better offering there, and then it's certified by PSA? Does that in your mind kind of make it scalable to where you can offer a dozen of these at a time? You can really kind of scale it out, and you can offer better value from what it looks like as far as returns and that sort of thing compared to some of the competitors in the space. As you said, repacks are super popular, and a lot of them don't have a lot of they've got some competition, but they're all doing well. You're coming in here, and it looks like you could be kind of undercutting, and then you add PSA to the mix. What's the long-term thinking?
Yeah, that's our goal. I'll be quite honest with you. We'd ideally like a little bit more than a 15%, profit margin, but we also are very aware that whenever we announce anything, it's going to be heavily scrutinized. And I said, I predicted that the second we launched this, people were going to be going through the repack checklist and pricing out every card. And that's what they're doing today. And so I said, we're going to be relatively tight on the profit margin, and we're going to hold there, and we're going to show people a really fair deal. I mean, I'd like to maybe eventually get it to 18% or something of that nature. Right. But yeah, Dustin, for us, we're looking at this as kind of a volume opportunity. We obviously would love to, you have more and more repack series in the future, and everything like that, for sure.
Is this good news for singles holders? I guess this is what I think about. How are we finding all the, the singles for all this stuff? Because as Tom, I feel like this is a really great question.
Yep.
From what I know, from what you've said, it's tough to keep singles, it's tough to keep the store. You're always buying to keep the store full. Now you've got, if you start to expand out, you've got the repack product, and you're one store, you'll probably have multiple stores, but how many other stores are trying to do the same thing? How many other repack companies are trying to do the same thing? I'm thinking, is trade night just going to be like a giant line where people are all the repackers going to come to trade night and say hey guys, we need inventory? Is it just going to be lines of people at trade night for the repack companies?
It's a very fair question. It's hard for everybody to get the cards. It's hard to do it at scale. Everyone's struggling with it. The digital repacks like Courtyard and Arena Club have built something brilliant into their model. I mean, love it or hate it. You may hate those things and think they're scummy and whatever. And that's, your prerogative. But regardless of how you feel about it, the thing they build into their model, which is smart business, maybe people don't feel it's right, but it's smart business, is they've built these instant buyback offers. So, you open up a Courtyard or Arena Club pack, and they instantly give you a buyback offer immediately after you've opened it. Well, a lot of people take those buyback offers. And so they're actually recycling the same cards. So they don't actually have to acquire nearly as much inventory as you think they do, because they're able to kind of recycle the same cards into their product again without having to go acquire it a second time, because people are taking the buyback offers. So that's actually why a product like Courtyard, you see the numbers they're posting on the blockchain. That's why it's so scalable. Because it's not that they're acquiring $500 million worth of cards per year. It's that they're acquiring $100 million worth of cards per year. And then those cards are being bought and resold 5 times or more, on average. And I don't know that those are the exact numbers. I don't know, but it's something like that, right? It's some percentage of their cards that people are just taking the buyback offer on, and it goes right back into the next pack. So that's smart. Obviously with physical repacks, there's really no way to do that. So it is a card acquisition challenge, and it's especially a challenge, as you said. Like, yes, we've had trouble keeping enough singles inventory on hand at Cards HQ to keep all of our showcases full. It has been a consistent struggle for us. So, I mean, what it means for us is just more buying. I mean, we've been hiring buyers. We have 13 buyers on staff right now. And, we are going this year to 58 card shows across the country to buy cards at. We've already been to, 30 something. And then the rest of them are the second half of the year. We'll be at 58 by the time the year's over, buying cards. And that's how we're trying to kind of feed the beast. And the beast is mainly just been Cards HQ up to this point, but now the beast is about to be Cards HQ plus the repack product.
Cam B's question's at 9:43, Dustin. I think that's the one he wants to ask.
Find it. Yeah. Okay. I have to go back. There's a zillion comments.
I know. They're flying
Geoff,
by.
I know your pack. I believe your pack starting at $2.99. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do y'all assume in the future you'll do a lesser valued product?
We're going to come out with. We're going to do a Pokemon one next month, and that's going to be $199. I don't know how much less will go because of the fact that obviously PSA is charging us a fee for all of this as well, right? So, so PSA.
How do they have the time to do this?
Yeah. So, well, I mean, it's a different team working on it completely than works on, grading and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But since PSA is getting a fee for doing the entire thing, I don't think we're ever going to do like a, $79 repack. We probably won't be able to go down that low with this. Otherwise, if we tried to do that, we'd have to not do the PSA certification because at some point the math there wouldn't make sense, or otherwise the floor would be like $5.
Guys, I think we broke our attendance. We're at 436 watchers. I think that might be an all-time high.
Oh, that's good.
So let's keep it going. Everybody, have your parents, aunts, uncles, everybody sign in to get the numbers up.
I had a meeting with my team late this afternoon, and I walked into the meeting, and of course my team's been monitoring all the social comments, all day long on everything, and I've seen a lot of it, and so I walked in the meeting, and my team kind of looked at me concerned, and they were like, how are you doing? Just like real kind of a nice concerned voice, like, how you holding up today? How you doing? And I'm like, guys, engagement is through the roof. It is through the roof. Engagement is through the roof. So there you go. So engage. I'm glad we're getting a lot of audience in here as well.
Absolutely. All right. So Cam's question here, are you able to answer this? How do you control which cards have already been pulled? The chaser, the one big card, is sold in a box to a random buyer that opens it at home and hits the hit. That will not be accounted for.
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, we have no way of tracking that like in real time because some of the packs will be opened in our break. So we'll see what cards we get out of those. But some of them are going to be sold in our retail store. Some of them are going to be sold on our website. We're selling a lot of them at the National. So yeah, the answer is we won't know that unless people choose to post them online. But that's no different than like any Topps product, right? Like, you have no idea if a certain superfractor has been pulled unless somebody posts about it on social media. So I think it would kind of be the same thing here.
Does the digital repack, does it update in real time, that checklist, like when the digital repacks are open? So that's one benefit, I guess, of a digital repack is that checklist just gets updated so you can see what's going on in real time.
That's correct.
Okay, just comparing the two. Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. No, that's correct. I mean, digital has got that advantage for sure. I just saw from my team, Ryan is in the chat. We just sold out of our pre-order, so I'm happy with that. We sold out. We sold a few hundred today that we had put up for pre-order, so that's pretty cool. We had 4 left as of me joining this show, and the last 4 just sold.
So based on how well this goes for y'all, do y'all ever assume that you would go digital at some point in the future?
I don't know. It's not something we're really considering right now. Obviously, I do a good amount of promotion for Arena Club. They're a sponsor, sports card investor. So they've been they've been very supportive of us and good to us. So it's not something that we have wanted to touch right now. I think that they've got good technology. They've done really well in that. So, we see the bigger problem in the physical repack space, and that's why we decided to go that direction.
Steve, go ahead.
No, I'm good. I forgot what I was going to ask.
Neo,
nobody does a quality repack of packs of cards that are mixed into a box. Let's say. I mean, there's obviously boxes you can open. No, I'd like to open up a pack that, let's say, it has a pack of 1980 Tops, a pack of 1993 SP for like the Jeter key years. Stuff that if I go to buy a box, it's $10,000 a box. But you break it out and you put the packs everywhere, or even an 86 Jordan pack, or whatever. It's just like it's going to be higher cost to get in. Agreed, but it's kind of going to be fun to open that up, get 2 or 3 packs of something you would never buy a single of because you just don't trust it.
Michael, somebody told me, I actually tossed that idea out to my team when we were kind of in the original planning stage of this. Like, could we do packs, some type of repack of packs? And somebody told me it was illegal. I don't know why it would be illegal, because I don't see how that's any different than like what Topps is doing or, Panini's doing. But somebody told me that a repack of packs was illegal. I didn't question the law, so I don't know. But it's a good question.
They've sold them at Walmart and Target. Like Fairfield,
right.
I think does it. So I don't see how that would be illegal.
Yeah, maybe it's just you're right. You're right. They do have those kind of mystery ones.
You would have to definitely source product that's probably authenticated and sealed, break it that way, and then put it in for people don't think you're being shady and stuff.
Yep, that's a good suggestion. I appreciate it.
What's your opinion? We're pulling up Javon Lawrence's comment here. Thank you for the $5 super chat. The digital repack game, and you actually just kind of nailed it with the fact that you don't have to continue to always, but you can just kind of recycle those cards. And that's kind of nice with a lot of people taking the buyout offer. Blez just announced that they're coming out with their own version of digital repacks. And I the writing was on the wall. Once Arena Club and Courtyard had all that success, there's probably going to be a dozen of these companies in the next 6 to 9 months. What is your take? Is there going to be kind of the Jeff Wilson version of the digital repack or the SCI version at some point? Is that in the plan, or you can't disclose or haven't thought about it?
We really have not considered doing anything in the digital repack space at all. Obviously Courtyard and Arena Club are both doing really well with it. I saw that Blez announced, launched his the other day. I haven't played around with it yet. I am guessing you're going to see a lot of digital repack pop up, people start popping these up in the months ahead because everybody sees how much money Courtyard was doing in revenue. And so I think now you're going to get a lot of copycats on that front. It's not something we're looking at all right now. What we did just do, which is totally separate from Graded Grails, but I think it's kind of cool, is since we've got the partnership with Arena Club on Sports Card Investor, tomorrow afternoon, Arena Club is dropping a Sports Card Investor curated Arena Club slab pack. And so Teapot Doug and I actually picked all the top cards for it. Everything we picked was pre-2018 investment grade cards. So it's kind of a little different spin on it. Most of those repacks thrive on the downtowns and the kabooms and the rookies and the prospects and all that kind of stuff. And we said, we don't want any of that. We want 1990s, he's got like I forget what, Star Rubies, 1990s, one of the guys. And we have Flair Showcase, row 0, Barry Sanders card in there. We've got some real cool, I've got a really cool Peyton Manning rookie insert. We got some really cool stuff in there. And I could see us doing stuff like that with Graded Grails, the physical repack in the future as well. With some of the kind of older, kind of cooler cards that honestly, that kind of stuff from an investment standpoint holds up a lot better over time.
Is there kind of like a collector angle to this sort of, the repack thing, whether it's, Robin Yount cards or I don't know. I'm trying to kind of spitball here a little bit to where when I think of repacks, I just think of people that are really just kind of, they're not necessarily even caring kind of which player comes through. It's just like, okay, you buy the $500 repack and hopefully it's a $2,000 card, or, you know, it's not necessarily what you're getting. It's just more about value and then turning that over, which is fine. That's entertainment for people. And there's people that enjoy that. But is there an angle where you could hit, you know, vintage players or, you know, 90s play, you know, Barry Sanders, or, you know, is there kind of a way to structure it where, you know, a Barry Sanders collector would think like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. Maybe I'll take a go at that, you know, and see if I can get, you know, specific player collectors.
I would love to do that. I think that's a really cool concept. I really want to do, I mean, it wouldn't make sense to do it probably right now, but like, I know the next Olympics is obviously now a ways off, but you guys know I'm like a nut for all the USA basketball stuff. I would love to do like a USA Olympic basketball repack and have like USA basketball cards, you know, which there's a lot of those throughout the years. I mean, there's been, you know, Prism does USA basketball, Mosaic, National Treasures, as well as you could go back to like the actual like 1990s Skybox and that kind of stuff. Like I would love to do a repack of all kinds of different USA basketball themed cards and like put that out, you know, at the next Olympics. Maybe there's a World Cup one for next summer or something like that. That's like just players participating in the World Cup. Maybe there's a 90s inserts, you know, was just suggested in the chat by K Killer, like stuff like that. I think could be really cool to do, like niche repacks. And I really hope that that's an area that we can explore. I think it will play in really well to what we're doing with this PSA partnership, to be able to source those cards and then kind of accumulate them over time in the PSA vault, because it might be a slow accumulation for some of that stuff, but we could start accumulating some of that stuff now. And then maybe 3-6 months from now, we've got 100 Barry Sanders cards, and then we can drop a 100-box Barry Sanders specialty graded Grails repack. I think that would be super cool.
All right, I'll hit you with a comment here from Stanley Gordon. Okay, so basically what Stanley is getting at is you're more about, I guess what he's saying is you're more about the business venture and the money part as opposed to saving a problem, which I guess he's taking exception to the way that it was marketed as far as saving, you know, kind of repacks or making it better and that sort of a thing. How do you respond to, I guess, you know, a criticism like that?
I mean, look, that's fair. That's fine. I get what he's saying, right? I mean, obviously I hype this up. I hype things up sometimes. We got a lot of hype behind this. I get it. Is it a money-making venture? Absolutely. This is a money-making venture. Of course it is. But I also think that oftentimes the best advancement and the best innovation and sometimes the best charitable work, and I'm not saying this is charitable work, but like the best like kind of work for humanity comes from profitable business ventures, but that also have a mission-driven slant to them, right? And I think that's what this is. Yes, this is Graded Grails is a for-profit venture, of course. We're trying to make money off of repacks. But I said to, you know, this actually goes back to when we first opened up Cards HQ, and in one of our meetings, some members of my team were like, we should have a Cards HQ repack. And I said in that meeting, I said, the only way I'm going to do a Cards HQ repack is if we find a way to make the repack industry better through doing it. And that was kind of what the challenge of this was. So yes, it is a for-profit. Yes, we're going to make money on this, but we are also at the same time going to raise the standard and the bar for the industry and make the industry better and hopefully make people think a little more critically about if these repacks they're buying into are actually fair, and hopefully make repackers feel a little bit of pressure to actually take some steps to, you know, maybe to make their products more transparent and honest.
From the PSA angle of this, you guys are just their first customer. This is not like you have exclusive rights to PSA's, you know, feel of freshness guarantee stamp or whatever. You're just the debut customer. They could work with whoever they want, and I'm sure they'll probably roll this out to whoever else that they partner with on this stuff.
I hope they do. Like that would be bad for my business, because Graded Grails would no longer be unique if there's now, you know, 80 different PSA certified repacks. But it would be really good for the repack.
You said you're making the hobby great again.
It would be good.
All the hobby, not just one piece.
That is correct. That is absolutely correct, right? And that would be good for the industry overall. So if that happens, I think it is a great thing for the hobby. A great thing. If some of these other big repacks start thinking like, okay, maybe we should go get ours PSA certified, great. We have done a good thing here. Will it ultimately hurt graded grails? Maybe, but it like that truly is secondary. Like I truly want the repack hobby to be cleared up, as a result of this. And I hope that does start to happen. And I hope PSA is able to do this with a lot of other people.
We'll quickly mix in this comment. There is another YouTube channel, the Because I'm Carlos channel, where one of his co-hosts, Eric, went on a long rant about how you were the hobby goat. I made reaction videos to it because it was really easy content. And Zach wants to know, did you ever watch this or hear this or pay attention to Eric? Because I think that Eric would think it's funny.
I actually saw your video, Dustin, and that's the one that I saw. I hadn't seen the original comments, but I saw your video, and then I watched your video, and then of course you clipped the original comments in there.
All right, Eric.
I appreciated what he said. Like I appreciated what he said. Like,
sorry, there's a comment at 10:05 I can touch on.
All right, where is it, Steve?
It's my mods.
10:05. Let me scroll through 400.
I think he's asking me. Not many people ask me many questions, but it has something to do with gambling. So, yeah.
Okay.
So it says, Steve and Geoff, how are repacks different than pool tabs in your professional gambling opinion? So in the state that I'm in, the state of Delaware, all of our gambling is regulated by the lottery. Now, when you compare something like a pool tab, that is not something that's regulated. Those things go on at bingo halls, they go on at fire halls, American Legions, a lot of things that have sovereign law, but they also guarantee you to get something, right? If you walk up to a blackjack table or a roulette wheel and you place your money down there, you have the chance of walking away with zero. You have the chance of winning big, you have a chance of winning a little bit, but you have the chance of walking away with zero. I would compare that more to breaking. If you buy into a break, you have the chance of walking away with zero. Now, in a repack, you have a chance to get something back. Now, you may not fully get the value that you put in. You may get more. You may get the same, but you're not walking away with zero. So that would be one of the differences when I compare it to casino gambling, because if you pull the handle on that slot machine and it doesn't line up for you, right, you're walking away with zero. And I would more so lean towards breaking being bigger when it comes to gambling than, say, even a pool tab or a repack, which is what you were asking about here. So that would be my thought from my casino experience and Delaware gaming experience and lottery laws. But again, that could be different from state to state as well. So that's just how I wanted to touch on that there.
Geoff, do you have anything to add to that for Mott's?
I mean, I don't see repacks really being any different than opening up a product from a manufacturer. It's the same concept. I mean, even the manufacturers sometimes do buyback products or repack type products, right? So, I mean, to me, in my opinion, it's kind of the same thing. So, I mean, I guess if you want to call, opening up a Blaster, a Panini Prism gambling, then okay, then I guess opening up a repacks gambling. I think it's kind of an equivalent thing, right? So, I mean, I think however you choose to look at that is how you're going to choose to categorize it.
Texas Rangers wants to know, is Teapot doing okay today? Or is he spiraling with this news and with everything going down?
Teapot is great. I'm glad, I told Teapot, like, I'm very happy that if Teapot has kind of built up this image of, being the savvy, wise, intellectual collector within the sports card investor family who I'm the crazy lunatic, hype beast who runs around and says crazy things. And Teapot's like the thoughtful, charismatic, caring, guy. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, that's great. Like, that's fine. We kind of play into that a little bit. And I think it's a good kind of a good yin and yang. Teapot's a thoughtful guy. He's a smart guy. Him and I, his thoughts and my thoughts are probably a lot more aligned on things than people would think, but our approach is, I think, a lot different. And so, people see the differences in approaches and then they draw kind of their own, opinions about both of us. Yeah.
Well, he looks like the Monopoly guy and he's well-spoken. But the other thing too, what was I going to say about Teapot? I had a good one for Teapot. Neo, go ahead, fire off. You were going to say something.
I was just going to say, do you think we got to this? I mean, is it as simple as the manufacturers didn't put out good enough of a product, and that's how we kind of got to this point? Like, because why else would repacks be super popular? Like, if Panini and Topps and Leaf or whoever else you want to throw in their upper deck was putting out a product that people opened and felt pretty okay about their results after opening it, do you think repacks are where they're at right now?
I think that's hitting on probably a large part of the reason for the popularity of repacks, but I would say is that the manufacturers who weren't putting out a good enough product that caused that, or was it the secondary market that drove up the price of products that caused that? Like, I don't know that I blame the manufacturers for that. I think that there's a lot of factors that came together. Some people will blame breakers for that, right? Like breakers buying up all this allocation, and then therefore prices get driven up for these products. So, I mean, I think, I don't know. Like, I think Topps and Panini, sure, are there problems with some of the products they put out? Absolutely. Like, it drives me nuts that we've got all these, it seems like every card coming out of Panini now is, never worn in a game event, not associated with any player. Even now in Flawless, that's the case. And I think that that's absolutely ridiculous junk. I don't like that at all. So the manufacturers are not to blame, but I also think that like the secondary market driving prices up and everything like that has caused a lot of that too. I think if prices were actually, back where they were, before things kind of went crazy, then repacks probably would be nowhere near as popular today as they have become.
Is it people just hate base cards? And so they're like, you know what, in the repack, it's just a bunch of hits. Now, it might not be a hit that's worth what you paid, but at least like it's a graded card or it's an insert or it's something. Whereas they open a hobby box or something and they've got, they're looking for 2 autographs out of the hobby box and all the rest of it, they're moving aside. Is that part of it? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's just
maybe. I mean, not every manufacturer product is that way, though. I mean, there's obviously a lot of products that are only 1 pack or a few packs or that kind of thing, where the manufacturers try to take that same approach. But yeah, I mean, base cards are less interesting to people. There's not as many people trying to build sets, anymore. Not as many people trying to collect, I guess, even though I think people I did a video, which obviously also got a lot of, feedback and criticism, where I said a few months ago that I think people overly romanticize how collecting used to be a little bit too, right? Like, I think it's easy to go, oh, collecting was so much more pure in the 90s or the 80s, but, maybe there was a little bit less, hit chasing, a little bit more set building, but there was still, there's still a lot of hit chasing going on too. And a lot of other problems back then, like a lot of fake cards a lot of trim cards that people didn't know any better and were just buying because there was no such thing as grading, right? And then a lot of people getting stuck with cards where they were told it was worth something and it really wasn't, because there was no such thing as liquidity, because there was no online marketplace to sell anything, right? So I don't know, the whole romanticizing collecting back when we were kids, I'm not really sure that that's really fully accurate.
All right, boys. Does anybody else have anything for Geoff? I don't want to keep him here all night either. What do we, any other questions around the new product or anything else before we see you next week?
No, I don't have anything else right now. I mean, Geoff did a good job of answering most of the questions through the, just, talking through the product and his thoughts and why. And so I appreciate that. I don't get into repacks. Doesn't mean I won't in the future, but I think my biggest thing with a repack is because, again, when a new product comes out, we're chasing a product type and brand. When you're in a repack, everything is scattered across something. So let's say maybe you want 2 cards and the rest of everything else you could care less about. I think that's where the repack, for at least a lot of people, has no allure to. Where like Pokemon's completely different, because that's just a completely different animal in the way it's built. Where sports cards can be very personal to a lot of people, even if it's from a investment, flipping, whatever it is. They want to target what they want to target. that makes it difficult. So like a Michael Jordan repack, I'm sure everybody and their mother would love. But if you do one and it's got Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, and some of these other guys that are lower, great guys, not as desirable for most people to really go into chase, to feel like even if I get this, will I still be at least satisfied? I think that's where a repack needs to excel. How do I make the majority of the people satisfied, even if they don't make their money back, but they still get something nice? I think that's where there's value.
I think that's amazing feedback. Appreciate the market research there, Michael. That's good stuff. I like that idea a lot. I'm going to take that comment to my team tomorrow.
Only charge 10%.
Mike, you're going to
There you
be in the board. You're going to be all about that whole board meeting. That 60-minute board meeting. 58 minutes is going to be the ham feedback.
There you go.
Yep.
That's a lot. 10% is a lot when our profit margin on this is only 15%. So
I'll make sure I make it up for you with the thought process.
all right, there you go. That sounds
Ham
good.
likes free stuff. Just give him some free stuff.
I like free stuff, but I'm very creative, and I'm tired of everybody being cheap, lazy, and boring with everything. And that's why this hobby's turned into what it's turned into.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael Ham. Steve, Steve, anything you want to add in?
No, I got some general questions that we can discuss when we start streaming, but not anything that's really directed towards Geoff in particular.
All right, man. Well, Geoff, we will. Well, you're already sold out. So anybody that was looking for the pre-order, that's gone.
Awesome.
When will the next? So I just have a feeling that we're going to see this scale up. How quickly do you think this is going to scale up? Are you going to have Pokemon versions of this? Is there going to be like a pretty heavy move on this thing?
I hope so. We'll see how this first series goes. We are working on series 2 already, Pokemon, and then just more football, basketball, baseball. But I would love to get to the point where we're doing more specialty repacks and different prices and all that kind of stuff. And I think if the next month goes well, then we'll probably start to move into some of that stuff pretty quickly. But we'll see how this goes. We did sell out on the pre-order, as you said, Dustin, actually during the show. And we will at the National next week is when, we'll really be kind of debuting it. We've got a huge setup at the National. We've got, Sports Card Investor has a space that's 3 times larger than the space we had last year. We've got our Card Kids Trade Zone, which by the way, is something we do completely for free that we pay for. And it's a huge space. It's 3 times larger this year. It's a huge space for kids to trade with each other in a kind of a kid-only environment on the National show floor. So I think that that's a big deal and something that was missing from the National. And so we're really proud to have done that the last few years. And it's going to be bigger and better than ever this year. It's going to be part of the Sports Card Investor booth at the National. We've got 2 different booths for Cards HQ. We've got one that's near the corporate area where we're just going to be buying and selling cards. And then we've got one in the Breakers Pavilion where we're going to be breaking, and that's where we're going to have all the Graded Grails repacks. So if anyone's at the National and you want to come by, please come by our different booths. And then if you're not at the National, we'll have them on Whatnot starting next Wednesday on Cards HQ Breaks.
All right. Well, there you have it. Well, hey, man, we will see you next week. It's going to be, I think it's going to be the wildest National yet, to be honest. I think it's going to be nuts.
It sounds that way. And I was listening to the interview right before mine. It sounds like it is going to be bigger and better and badder than ever before. And I'm super excited for it. So I can't, it's our team's Super Bowl. We were just talking about it today. It is literally the Super Bowl. And so we are pumped up for it. So I look forward to seeing all you guys there. Thank you to everybody in the chat. There was a lot of lively comments in the chat. Ziggy, maybe I'll let Ziggy ask some questions of me at the National because he's upset that his questions didn't get answered.
You have to answer all Ziggy or he's not satisfied.
The pitchforks were out in chat.
There were some. That's all right. 90s basketball cards doesn't like me, but he had some respectful comments, so I appreciate that. There was some good ones in chat. I like funny rips. I'll go back and read all of these right afterwards. I appreciate the all the comments in here.
Sports Mike too. I will be wearing my fanny pack, and I think it's hilarious how people think that like I'm trying to act cool or something with it. I just like wearing it. I'm not like trying to flex with it. I just like it. It's easy for me to carry cards in it. But whatever. I'm sure you're probably wearing.
I wish somebody gave away a fanny pack. Fanny packs are cool.
I mean, it's an 80s fanny pack.
It's a Zion pack.
It's totally on brand for me.
All right, gentlemen. Have a great rest of your night. I appreciate you having me on the show. And look forward to seeing you guys all at the National next week. Take care.
All right.
All right. See you, Geoff.
Bye. There
you have it. We were knocking on the door for 500 viewers. We're at 491. 491. I figured out how to stream to Twitter too for the first time tonight. So I think we added a few more.
Did you pull the super chats?
Did I what?
Pull the super chats.
They're just two. Yeah, there's two. Yeah, I pulled them up.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one was a joke because he actually said something later about it being a joke. Space 99 Yak, shout out, yeah. 499. And then we had Javon Lawrence, and then he was asking about digital repacks like Buzz. So yeah. All right.
I wouldn't be surprised if PSA has down that route at some point in time. I'm sure that's something that they're thinking about. Like if they could provide a point of sale.
Yeah,
back end on it and just charge like a service fee or something.
We talked about this. I think it's just a matter of time before you can grade cards at PSA, send them to the PSA vault, or sell them on eBay, or sell them in a PSA repack. I think eventually, I don't have any inside info on that, but would not be surprised at all if eventually we get to that point.
I don't think PSA would want to sell their own repack. I could be wrong on that, but I feel like they want
the most money.
Or you know what?
Some separation of trade.
Maybe they've got their repack partners and you just get a lot more offers on your stuff. Because right now they've got PSA offers and there's offers that come through. I've had offers come through, but maybe in the future you just have a lot more action on that front as stuff gets graded.
Yeah, anywhere they can cut cost, I think in the future. I think this is also a part of the hobby and the time that you got to strike while it's hot, because I don't think it'll be like this for the next couple years. I think there will be another shift where even repacks maybe aren't popular, or they'll be very, very particular. Like it'll really get dialed in. Because at some point, all these cards are just going to keep changing hands, even if they're just going from repack to repack. If it never ends up with somebody, does it even make it collectible at that point?
Well, what we're going to see now, we talked about it. There's going to be a bunch of companies that jump in this game, and then they're going to have to fight each other for the business. But that'll be the interesting thing to watch. If they're all doing really well, then hell, then that's kind of wild. But eventually, you might be right, Ham, where it's just too much. It's like there's 20 companies doing digital repacks, and everybody just gets kind of worn down. And that's not even including it's not even including breaking and physical repacks.
Yeah, and there's tons of valuable cards, but how many valuable cards are there worth that people would really chase in a repack? That's really what it would come down to.
I've gotten some good offers, Stadium. I've gotten some good offers. Some of them are just okay, but I've gotten some good offers through the PSA vault.
Well, we see it at shows. There's people that literally still go to every one of my shows and other shows. They only buy. They don't even have cards on the table. They just buy. Wrap it up in a couple of rubber bands, put a sticky note on it, and they throw it in a box. They're not selling anything. They're literally just buy a table to buy.
Yeah, Michael Stone, I've never negotiated with GameStop. Last time I picked up my bulk order from them, they asked me, they said, hey, can we look at your cards and see if we can make you an offer on them? And I was like, no, thanks. I want to take them home. So I never even showed them my cards. So I don't know what percent or even what they buy.
Yeah. Say hello to Shelby real quick, Shelby and her family are actually going to the National, and I will be meeting them for the first time.
Oh, nice. Shout out to Shelby. Shout out. So Paul from our group chat is in the building. At some point, enough of these guys buying repacks are going to start player team or set collecting. So Paul thinks that they end up moving over to being collectors.
Nope.
Maybe some of them, Paul, but maybe not. They might just.
Big collectors are only going to chase the Grail cards, the true Grails, because those are the ones that most of their investor friends are going to tell them they have to have, because that's the stuff they want. You go to look at these people that have endless amounts of money, and they show you their vault room, and then they show you their 52 mantle and their Superman #1 and their Spider-Man #1 and their Fantastic Four and a 9, and it's like, these guys only chase that thing, and those are why they're so expensive, because the whales got in. For a long time, the true whales weren't in the hobby. So the stuff didn't get pushed as hard. Now that they became an investment thing, when everything was being fractionalized, then it became, I want full ownership, so I'll pay more. And that's what really drove the prices for everything. And that's where we're at, kind of on that residual.
Well, I don't think any of us here buy repacks, right? We all have probably more of a skeptical, negative view towards them. I mean, I don't buy them, but my thing is I'm not going to tell somebody else not to, because if that's the way that somebody enjoys the hobby, then who am I to tell them how they can enjoy their hobby and how to spend their money? I mean, I could advise against it, but I would never be like, hey, don't buy repacks, they're terrible, because that would be like them telling me don't buy pop culture cards, they're terrible, right? But that's what I like. So, it's not for me to police the hobby or tell people how they should or shouldn't spend their money. I can give my opinion, and that's about it.
Well, yeah, that's what it is. Like, if we make a video about it, it's not that I'm saying like, I'm in control of your money. It's just that I'm just saying I think it's dumb or whatever. Like, it's just an opinion. It's just one guy's opinion.
Yeah, I think
but
it's
a huge
evolving.
part of the ecosystem, like we talked about, because that was the one question that I really that I wanted to ask, but Neo hit it before I got a chance to. I just kind of was curious as to maybe how much liquidity do you think repacks prop up how much liquidity in the hobby right now? If repacks were gone, how much liquidity do you think we would lose? And a lot of the stuff gets recycled back into the ecosystem, like we were just talking about. I do think some of the cards would eventually find a collector, because typically they're going to be autograph cards. A lot of times when people buy for repacks, they don't buy shit cards. They just buy cards that don't necessarily fulfill the entire value of what the repack cost is going to be, because the person selling the repack is going to is out to make money, which Geoff made clear. We all know that. None of us are stupid. We know that repacks, if you were taking a loss on them, they wouldn't exist. Just like a casino. If casinos gave away money all the time, they wouldn't exist. Casinos, they're rigged for the casino to win.
Yeah, but listening to 15% to me felt like extremely low for a repack product.
I figured it would have been 20 or 25% no matter what.
Well, see,
at a minimum. I mean,
I'm not into repacks enough to know what most repacks offer. I've never sat and watched a whatnot stream of people breaking repacks. I've never participated myself, so I can't sit and say 15% is good or bad, because I don't know what to compare it to.
I don't know. I just feel like just buying and selling trading cards, 15% is kind of like, that's really low, just buying and selling cards in general, let alone
putting all people that survive on that very easily as long as they buy well.
To be fair, though, it could be 20%, but remember, he's paying PSA a percentage on top of that.
And that's why he was saying that.
Yeah. So it could be a 20% like baseline margin if you took out whatever the PSA cost is involved with it, because I'm sure they're hitting them with, I don't know if it's a flat fee per box or like a percentage based off the checklist. Do they upcharge their repack clients depending on the value of your repack came in more expensive, we got to upcharge you?
It feels like the high end repacks are where the big swings are. That's where, and granted, I haven't seen the books for these companies, so I don't know. Like, I haven't seen the accounting, so I can't say that I know for sure. But when you look at the buy-ins on some of the high end stuff, and you look at and granted, some of them have huge chase cards, but the higher the risk, I'm sure the higher the margin is. For those.
If you ever get bored, go try and find one of these repacks that pop up on Whatnot or wherever, or Fanatics Live, wherever it may be, that are $2,000 buy-ins. And the ceiling's $30,000 card and the floor is a $500 card. It is fun to watch. I'm not trying to do that, but I don't have that type of money to throw around. If I was a multi-hundred millionaire, would I probably just do it for fun? Sure, why not? I got money. I don't care. I'm willing to let it burn, because I don't care. And yes, there's a bunch of people that have that type of money. They don't care. We just don't play in that field, but we like to just think that it's regular people doing this. I think the regular person is getting beat up over breaks.
No, I agree. I think it's whales. I think it's not that different from the casino, Steve. I mean, where you've got certain guys coming in, the whales come in, they spend, how much of casino business, and again, you don't have to share like all actual numbers, but how much of the overall casino business are the whales coming in, like the top 10, 15% of people with huge, money? or is it a lot of regular, folks coming in?
Regular. Majority of casino drop. If a casino drops 500,000 a day, and that's probably a mid figure for a smaller casino, they drop 500,000 a day. You figure if you have a high limit player come in and play 50 to 100,000, that other 400,000 is made up of the people that are buying it anywhere between 100 and 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's what, 10% of the people?
Most of the time, your high limit players aren't everyday players, right? That's why they have money. They don't come to the casino and lose it all. So, basically, you say like a whale. I think of crypto when you talk about that. But the big players typically come in like on the weekends or whatever. They'll make your night. They'll push your night over the top, but they won't necessarily make your casino drop.
Okay. Do you think it's different in this world? Do you think that there's more regular folks that are buying $500,000, repacks on payday, on Friday, Saturday night or whatever? Or do you think that there are, folks kind of like people buying singles that come in and spend millions of bucks on singles too? Do you think it's different in this world, or you think it's similar where you have a lot of average Joes too that are spending the money?
Just on repacks in general, or you mean the hobby as a whole?
No, repacks in general.
So what prices of repacks are you talking about?
Probably more like mid to high end. So maybe not like $100, but $5 and up, or 500 and up, let's say.
I think when we talk about the repacks, I think a lot of it has to do with it is actually someone's way of substituting for opening wax. Because if you wanted to buy singles, you'd just go buy singles, right? I like buying singles, like a lot of people in the chat are talking about. Thinking of a card, chasing that card. It's a lot of fun to do with vintage because you're looking for that card that appeals to you when you're buying low grade vintage, right? Because like we've always talked about, that card's got to appeal to you because there's going to be something wrong with it. But I do believe that a lot of the repacking, that adrenaline rush, dopamine that people get from opening something, the gamble. I mean, gambling is an addiction. It is an addiction. We have a hotline for it at the casino. It spikes dopamine. It makes people get an adrenaline rush. A lot of people that gamble in the casino, in fact, don't play to win money. They play for the hype. They play for that feeling of, I might win, I might lose. As hard as that might be for some people to understand, someone who's been in the business as long as I have, I've seen it. And it's their form of entertainment to some. And some enjoy it, and some of them go off the rails. Some will go on tilt, they say. But
like you were saying when you were explaining the stuff earlier, at the end of the day, at least breaking, opening wax, whatever it is, I still end up with something versus zero. When you're in a casino, you can end up with zero all day long.
Well, that's the thing. Like someone wanted to compare it to pull tabs. Like if you go in typically to a bingo hall, because we don't offer pull tabs at the casino. You go into somewhere like a fire station and they're having a bingo night, and it's like they sell pull tabs at the door. Now pull tabs might be $20, and the cheapest pull tab might be $5, right? So you're going to lose 15, but you're getting $5 of your money back. There's no pull tabs in there that are zero. On the casino tables, people are actually going to walk with zero more times than they walk with $1.
Yeah.
And if they do have $1, they're typically going to give it to the dealer who just busted their ass, right? So it's like, because they go there for the gamble, they go there for the high of it.
And the other thing that's happening in the hobby, I think, is big cards that used to be big don't feel big anymore. Like I see cards at shows all the time, $10,000, $20,000. I'm like, okay, cool. That doesn't faze me anymore.
It's and a lot of cards are watered down. Just like
don't bother me.
And a lot of cards are watered down now. Like Neo did his video on downtowns, right? What's special about a downtown nowadays? Really? Repackers like to buy them for repacks.
Well, here's the thing too, and then with Topps basically mimicking it with their hometown or whatever the hell it's called, it's still garbage. I mean, the kabooms, I don't mind too much of the look, but it's now like you'll go to a case and like the whole case is stupid kabooms, downtowns, and color blasts. And I'm like, okay. And then I go to the next case, kabooms, downtowns, color blasts. Okay.
They're just
like, these
waiting
aren't
for the
rare.
repacker to come by and buy them out.
I know, but the thing is now these guys at these shows won't even come off 100% of recent comps.
I mean, why would they when a repacker is going to give them 100%?
That's what I mean. There's a divide going on between certain people at shows now, because there's a lot of time there's guys that'll go to the show, they'll get in before it opens because they're friends with everybody, and they just start going around buying everything. And then of course the consumer comes in and that stuff's gone.
And like to touch on what I was talking about earlier, one of the feelings that I kind of have is that the hobby, this isn't for everyone. Because I know some people will be like, I love my cards, I love my singles. So do I. But I believe a lot of the hobby is becoming more about the chase than it is actually about the card. Yeah. It's not even about what's at the end of the road as much as it is about the road that leads you there.
Well, think
and
about
then you get to that end of that.
Put that on.
You get to the end. I'm just saying, you get to the end of that road, and what do? You go back to the beginning, and you go down that road again.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like there is nothing at the end that's really going to fulfill you or satisfy you.
Yep.
And even if you do get a big card, right, you're going to sell it.
Yeah.
And if you get a big card, you're going to sell it, and you're going to start it all over again.
Yeah, because you're trying to make up for what you lost already to even get to that point.
And the worst part about that is that because that is what is really popular in the hobby right now, regardless if we like it or do it or not, it is one of the big parts of the hobby. And a lot of times it could be someone's first experience into the hobby. And if we're people coming in new, that might be their first experience into the hobby, and that might be what they do. And it could lead to a road of just constantly being caught up in the cycle. I would like to think that people would still like to buy cards that they want to collect. But then again, I buy and sell cards constantly. So I would be a hypocrite if I wasn't saying I wasn't in the hobby to make money, but I'm also in the hobby to build my collection. And I think anybody in the chat right now, I don't think anybody in the chat right now would turn
about collecting with us growing up. That's the thing too. We're used to a different version of the hobby, and this does not mirror
evolved into something different. Yeah, it's evolved into something different, and whether we like it or not, that's what it is right now. But there still are. I still have my spot in the hobby. That's why I don't let this stuff eat me up. I'm not going to be like, I'm going to quit the hobby because I hate everything that's going on. I just go to my little lane. I stick to it. I flip low end cards. I build my collection. I put out a video every now and then. That's what makes me content.
Light pouring,
and I don't even really pay attention to a whole lot of the other stuff. That's why I didn't have a whole lot of questions to ask tonight. And what Geoff does in his personal life and in his business really isn't my business. I don't sit around.
Well, he's an entrepreneur that's also doing something that he also enjoys mixed in with business. He's seeing a spot in the market that they can get into, try and improve something, and still make money. And a lot of people don't like that about Geoff because I don't know why, really. I don't get it. Think about it. If any of us got to do two things in the hobby that are beneficial to us at the same time, why wouldn't we want to do it? Like, I like creating. I would love to go create product, create ideas, and try and get something people are going to love and fall in love with. Yes, but I want to sell it for a lot of money, but I want it to be good enough to be worth selling. And I just think the hobby right now doesn't care because they're literally printing money. It doesn't matter. And we're just not there yet because somebody hasn't introduced something new and cool enough to make people go, I want that, because nobody else makes something like that. Like, we haven't done that. We haven't re-broke the hobby yet. And I'm waiting for somebody to re-break the hobby again. But it's going to be a product that does it.
The upside down repack. We keep on talking about it, but we're not doing it.
You're affiliated with PSA. When's your meeting with them to get this thing set up?
Maybe it already happened.
Oh.
The upside down repack tomorrow.
What's the coupon code for the upside down repack?
That's gonna be my IG post. The hobby will change forever. July 24th.
What's the promo code for the upside down repack?
Well, it's gonna be my product, so I mean,
if you want us to pitch it, like, what's our promo code?
Oh, I mean, well, yeah,
we pump it.
I need an affiliate link.
The pre-order is probably going to sell it. I don't know if I need affiliates, but I'll keep you guys posted.
Yeah, there's some stuff that all these or at least one of a few of the grading companies could do that could make a lot of extra money for them and another party if they went a specific route with marketing. And I haven't seen anybody do it or attempt it.
If PSA is going to do this, is Beckett going to do this too? Is CGC going to do this?
That's what I expect.
I could barely give you a non-paper order form. You wanted to do something like that.
Everybody needs to strike while the iron's hot. I don't think Beckett's smart enough to do that because they haven't been able to figure out their own crap. And they haven't brought me back a giant price guide with all the pictures of every single cardigan in it. So they're not smart enough to do anything right now. And they're in a hole and they're ran by basically Frankenstein. But there's other companies that could jump the shark if they chose to. I just think they're all scared because it's too easy to make money right now.
Ham's throwing heaters tonight, not holding back.
So we're heading into the National next week. We really haven't talked about it that much.
No, a week from now, we're going to be watching Beavis and Butthead clips.
I'll be there Tuesday, so I'll already be there as of yesterday.
I'll be there Tuesday. Yeah.
So for me, I just, believe it or not, I just edited this video. But for me, this is the National every year. I feel like for me, I don't know if anybody in the chat wants to agree or you guys, it almost feels like a hobby reset for me. I feel like my hobby year starts with the National and it ends right before the National is about to start. So I feel like the 2 or so months, I feel like the 2 or so months leading up to the Nationals when I kind of go through my bit of a hobby burnout phase, bit of a hobby lull phase, other than giving away the trip to the National, which we gave away to Brad. I don't know if he's still in the chat, but also that consignment order, you guys know I was sending out a consignment order to try to raise money because I'm trying to raise $1,000 to give away to the National winner to have for spending money like I did last year. That consignment order of PSA 9s that I sent in did $1,300. So I said I would give away half of that, half of what it sold for, not half of what it profited. So $650 in the pot out of my pocket. And now I'm trying to raise the other $350. I did see some questions in the comments about that from like Spurs cards. I did ask people that if they wanted to donate, they could reach out to me on Instagram and I talked to them about it, but a lot of people really didn't hit me up. It didn't really blow up like it did last year, which is fine. I don't expect people to, especially in this economic time, to donate to the National giveaway. But if you are interested, you can hit me on Instagram. And then I am going to make like, there'll be stickers of Daisy made this year, but they're going to be made for the people that donate ahead of time. And then I'll send them out to you. It'll be like a little incentive, like a little thanks for donating with a sticker of the dingus pretty much. I know that Steve Splenda wanted to also.
Spurs cards. I got his second place card. I purchased it. He sent me a card, a Tim Duncan insert, PSA. Okay. And it was purchased. It's on the way. It went to eBay authentication. So Spurs was lighting it up, man. I feel bad, even though he always talks trash to me. So I was like, please God, let Spurs not win so we don't have to battle at the National in person. But now I feel bad, but I did buy him a $300 card. So we're even. We are good to go. Spurs is good. One question that I saw here, and then I moved off of it. Michael Stone, hope to see you at the National. Michael Stone, any national goals specifically? Let's go around. Neo, what sort of national goals do you have, whether it's card buying or meetups or whatever?
I'm still putting my little checklist together of stuff that I want to target, but I have at least 2 cards in mind for sure. I'll probably do a video on it next week sometime. I mean, to me, this is almost more about a social outing than it is about card. I mean, if I really wanted the cards that I'm looking for, probably 2 out of the 3 of them, I could just go on eBay right now and just buy them. Like, this is just more about, this is as much about the social aspect as it is about going to look at cards.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I always look for something that maybe I just don't ever see. Because there are some cards that just never make eBay. They really don't. And I'd like to do a little more digging this year through some value boxes. I do enjoy doing that. It's just sometimes you get so caught up in it, and there's just so much that you can lose track of that. But we all have downtime during some of the days that we can kind of just putt around. I think I want to do that, and then obviously do everything else I usually do with my videos.
One thing too that's unique about the National, well, it's not unique about the National, but I always get stuck just looking and looking and looking. You could spend all day just going around twice, but because they turn over so many cards, you'll have a vintage dealer that has a random non-sport card in the middle that they bought or traded for or whatever. So there's always every single day there's fresh inventory at all these different places. So like what Ham is saying, there might be cards that you haven't seen on eBay, and then all of a sudden it's in a showcase, out of nowhere at the National. What about you, Steve?
I can't say I'm specifically targeting a certain card. I think every year when I go to the National, I end up, I don't know that I want the card until the card speaks to me. So I'll see a card and then I'll be like, hey, yeah, that's a card I want. Last year was the Clemente rookie, which I saw your video talking about that being one of the cards you like. I didn't know I wanted that card till like the last day of the National, and I walked by and I really thought the card looked really nice and had a lot of character to it. And I was like, wow, never imagined coming into the National leaving with a Clemente rookie. Not because of the price or anything, just because that was nowhere on my top 10 target radar.
And there's something about buying a card in person versus just picking it off of eBay.
Right.
There is something there to that.
And I would like to find something different. When I bought the Lou Alcindor autograph a couple of years ago, that was something that I thought was really cool. It wasn't a card, but it was on a little business card. And it's just something you don't see all the time. If I could find something cool like that, that would be neat. But again, I never know. I will go with a budget, but that doesn't mean I have to spend it. That doesn't mean I'm going to limit myself either if I actually see the card that I want to get or something that really grabs me. Yeah, Michael Stone says a Hank Aaron rookie card. That would be awesome because I have the Mays and the Jackie and the Clemente. So it's like I'd like a nice Babe Ruth card, but it's all about finding that one also. So no, not really any specific things.
We got all the tough guys. All the tough guys came to the chat tonight. All of the tough guys came.
So that's with the cards. As far as my goals, of course, hanging out, having a good time. We got Filmington's party. Got to present him with the fantasy football ring. He did win the league this year for that allowed us to continue to do the giveaway. We do the fantasy football league now, which really helps. And so, yeah, usually it's just a Filmington party. This year it's the ring presentation ceremony.
and that's Friday night, right?
That's Friday at Lowe's.
And then we have Friday lunch and then Friday dinner.
There's a Friday lunch. I'm not sure when's dinner. We can't do a Friday dinner and Filmington's party, can we? Is there
no. Well, I mean, Filmington's party's Friday and then Friday. So we have dinner plans, I guess.
Yeah, but just all
party, that family just drinks.
Yeah, just all the hanging out, seeing a lot of people that I haven't seen in person for an entire year, just touching base. And for me, resetting, like I said, I just came, I'm burned out. Not that I'm like, I bought a couple cards a week or two ago that were PC cards. It felt great. It felt super great because from January to April, I've been buying, grading, flipping, buying, grading, consigning, buying, grading. So, it's been a cycle. And this is not what I do for a living, right? I still have my full-time job. So yeah, the burnout is real. So when summer comes around, I like to chill a little bit. And I'm also dabbling in some other things, which you guys know. We've talked in text message before, which I just hit. I hit today good in the crypto market. So in my video today,
look at you flipping crypto these days.
Look,
crypto.
So there's a theater here in town. It's like a theater where they do like plays and shows and things like that. And my daughter participates there as like a stagehand. She does makeup. Sometimes she acts in some of them, but she directs and things like that. Well, every year there's a theater troupe that goes in there and they do a show, and they strictly do it for a charity. And all the tickets and stuff they sell, they donate to a certain charity that they choose. And for the past 2 years, the theater has let them use the theater for free because everything they do is for charity. Everything that they raise, they pick a charity. That's who they send it to. But this year, the theater decided that they were going to charge them $1,000 to use the space. And sometimes that play, their charity doesn't even raise that much.
Yeah.
Like they sell the tickets, the entrance tickets for like $3 to $5 so that people can afford it. It's not super professional. It's just fun. and they might raise $500, $600, $700 for their charity that they do. And I know the person that operates it was like, man, we got to figure out some fundraisers because we still want to do our play. But we have to pay for the rights to use whatever play they do, right? Because things are copyrighted. And we also now we have to pay $1,000 to the theater. So I had a good day in crypto, and I went down to the theater and I said, look, I want to pay for them. I want to pay for their space.
That's very nice.
Because I believe that, like I've always done the giveaway, because the hobby was good to me from 2020 really to 2024. The hobby was really good to me, more than I could ever imagine. And I just always felt like giving back,
Yeah.
I believe that if you do good for yourself and you give back, things continue to work out good for you. So I went down there today, and it was cool because it made their day, like the whole troop and the kids and them. And they were like, wow, we can't believe that somebody did this for us. And I was like, well, it really didn't hurt me to do it because
it's nice that you
I ran into some unexpected money, right?
Yep.
And maybe I wouldn't have, and maybe that's just how the world works.
Yep.
Boys, we have a hard stop here coming up in the next 5 minutes. So if there's any other topics that we've got cooking, we almost got to 500. We're at 425 live viewers right now. Not too shabby for average content creators. Not too shabby out here in the sports.
We did 1% better tonight. We had two guests.
We did 1% better. Actually,
we had two guests.
Do I have any media assets? Wait, throw in a clip.
Join my crew. You take the card and put it in the sleeve.
All right, we just got to keep adding the clips in. We got to keep clipping.
Here's my new fishing edition here. This is
Damn, did you get that off eBay?
Yep.
I had that on my watch list. I was going to buy it for you and give it to you at the National. And it was gone. And I was like, man, I wonder if Ham bought that or somebody, because you told me last
the last one. Yeah, they're hard to find, and every time somebody's listed one, it's usually too expensive for what it is.
I put it on my watch list. I was like, maybe they'll make me an offer of like 10 or 20 bucks off their price, and then it got bought. And I was like, there's not another person in this world that wants that card except Michael Ham. I'm like, it had to be bought by him.
Yeah. Alan Ginter has 2 fishermen on cards. The other one's Kevin Van Dam, who won like 7 tournaments or whatever. So I keep waiting for them to make a flip palette one because I really like that one as well. If not, I made my own flip palette card. So
we have to shout out Ben Burrows at collect.com. Ben, please keep on churning out. Neo and I need more stories to talk about this week and next. So just keep it all flowing. We've got the National next week, so we've got content, but keep it coming, brother. We need it.
Space Yak, man, I can't be giving out any tips on that, man. I got lucky. I bought a token. There was a token that I was like, man, I think that this token is okay. And I let's put it this way. I bought a bunch of it for 3 cents, and I woke up this morning and it was 19 cents. And I said, oh, let's de-risk. Let's take some profit and let's leave a little bit of it rolling. And that's what happened.
It's not one of the big 4. Yeah, you definitely do that with those.
Good stuff. All right, boys. I think we're going to hang it up. So next week we're going to be out at the National. I don't know if we're going to maybe do like a live or maybe we can pull something together and do kind of like a show out there for a little bit. We can see what we can do, but otherwise, if not, then in 2 weeks we'll be back. We can kind of post National, talk it up, pickups.
Yeah, I'll be spitting out videos as fast as I can get them out, or the Wi-Fi allows. If the Wi-Fi is good inside the place, I'll go live. Usually it's very choppy, but if it's as strong as it's supposed to be this year, I'll go straight live.
I'm going to do my usual Blair Witch Project type crap. Neo has got a really fancy camera, so he'll have kind of a nice, he'll have a smooth radio voice going while he's walking around. And Steve and Ham have all sorts. They're like the B-roll kings. So to be honest, like I'll give you that average National content, but these 3 will give you some juice. So
my National videos are always my best because the B-roll steals. The people want to see the people want to see the organic, real shit, right? So the B-roll is the best. When we're walking around looking like idiots, lost, trying to find a parking spot. That's the best. That's the highlight.
I rewatched one of my videos earlier where you were eating a hot chicken, where you were eating, what was the fire spicy?
Oh yeah,
or whatever.
the spicy chicken, and it made me cough. Is there anything for Wednesday night?
I'm sure there is.
I have a thing on Wednesday night. I've got a party that I was invited to.
Oh,
So
cool.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I'm going to the underground. The underground.
No, seriously. I heard when I was on Carlos's stream for Hobby Palooza that we did the 6.5 hour stream and me and Bobby got into a fight.
What? I missed
yeah,
that.
yeah. Well,
HBK
go dial it back up. Me and Bobby were going back and forth at each other.
Oh Lord! All right, I'll have to go take a look.
I think Bobby's in the chat. I thought I saw him earlier.
That's where Carlos needs to timestamp like fights and different things, like controversial take 4 hours 10 seconds, so I can just pick it up.
Well, we wanted to beat the old record, so we just obliterated it. So.
All right, guys.
All right, boys.
3 pounds
See
over.
you all next week.
Yeah, we'll
All right,
see you in 6. Well, I'll see you guys in 7 days. It's 6 days for you guys.
Maybe we'll shoot some Wednesday night content if there's nothing going on. Live from Airbnb.
There we go.
Rosemont.
I'll join from the party.
No, maybe it'll be late night. Maybe it'll be a midnighter at the Airbnb.
Oh no, that's true. Actually, that's a good point. I'm not going to be there forever. So yeah, I'll go for a couple hours and I'll come in with you guys.
Forever.
All right, guys. See you next week.
See ya.
Godspeed.